Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Today I'm going to be previewing Half Truth Second Guess. This is a party game from Nighthawk Games. It is designed by two very well-known people that you might know, Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings. Alright, so if you don't know, Richard Garfield is the master game designer who created games like Magic the Gathering and King of Tokyo. Ken Jennings is the Jeopardy celebrity who basically just went on a tear on Jeopardy. So, extremely smart person, an extremely great game designer. Paired up to make this a trivia-based board game, it's party game. Alright, let me give you a quick overview of how to play. Alright, here's our setup for Half Truth Second Guess. We've got a huge deck of cards here. We have our question mat. Basically, we're going to put one of those questions into that question mat at a time, and then we're going to kind of go through and try to figure out the answers. You can play with up to 4 teams, and each team can have up to 3 players. So it can go anywhere from 2 to 12 players, which is a wide range, but it actually works out. So in this scenario, what I've got is I've got two teams of 2 each, so a 4-player game. Each team is going to have a dial which represents its score, but that also might trigger some additional things like additional events that might happen during the game. We're going to have a little window on this side that's going to give us whether there are any special rules, and over here is going to be our score. Let's go ahead and take our top card there and put it inside the question mat without looking at the back of it, because that was going to be where our answers are. So we're going to slide that in there. Alright, so we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunters. And there's this kind of A through F, 6 different answers. Half of them are accurate, half of them are not. So now, every player on every team needs to go through their cards, and they have to pick out at least 1, but up to 3 answers they think they're accurate. Why wouldn't you want to guess all 3 every time? Well, if even one of your guesses is inaccurate, your entire hand of cards is booted out. So let's kind of go through this, and let's figure out what we think. I'm a Star Wars fan, so I have a pretty good idea what's going on here. I'm going to choose a couple of these. I'm going to be the green triangle player. So let's see. I'm going to choose F. I'm going to choose B. I feel like I know the third one, but I'm not going to risk it. All right, my opponent, my partner, we cannot talk to each other. We cannot say anything about what we know. We can simply say things like, I'm pretty confident on this topic, so I'm going to guess all 3. Or, I know nothing about this topic, I'm only going to guess 1. You can say things like that. So this is going to be my partner's guess. Alright, my opponent's team, they might have guessed a couple things over here. Yeah, they're going to do something like this. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we are going to reveal the answers. Everyone had their cards flipped down. They're going to flip them back over. So this character chose A, B. This character chose E, F. We've got A, and then I chose FB. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this card over and simply show the back of it. The green highlighted answers are the correct ones. What's also nice is, on the back of the cards there, on the incorrect answers, it tells you what those are from. So that way if something sounded familiar, you get the satisfaction of knowing what it came from. Alright, so we're going to look at each player's selection of cards. If even one of them is incorrect, the entire stack goes away. Alright, so we chose F and B. F was right, but B was not, so our hand is actually going to get discarded. Our partner chose A. A is not highlighted, the heck is discarded as well. Over here on the opponent's side, we've got A and B. A and B, not right, we discard those. We've got E and F. Those are actually highlighted, which is fantastic. They're going to get the points for that question. Now, the green team does not get any points, but the yellow team, they had some correct answers. Doesn't matter how many were correct, 1, 2, or 3. The point that they had any correct ones, they're going to get 2 points on the dial. So we're going to rotate that to show our 2 over there. You can see that. But in addition to that, because they had the most correct answers, they're going to get 1 bonus point. So we're going to twist that down to show 3. Over here on the far left side of the dial, we're going to see some little symbols every once in a while. If we see a green little arrow like we see there, what that means, as we go to our reference, that means if you are the team who has the most correct answers, instead of advancing 1 bonus time, you advance 2 bonus times. Alright, then you're going to keep on rotating around. If you ever find the red X means that round, and this applies to everyone, not just the person who has it revealed on their board. This means players are going to choose the incorrect answers instead of the correct answers. So it's a little bit of a mind twist. You have to choose the incorrect answers when the red X is showing. And then all the way towards the end of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to find a purple exclamation point on the edge of your board there. What that means, that is going to trigger the final question of the game. And the scoring is going to change a little bit as well. And it's all going to be listed down here. For this particular round, if you have 1 correct answer, you're going to get 2 points. 2 correct is 3. 3 correct answers is worth 4 points. So in that final round of the game, you're going to get a little bit of a chance to redeem yourself and get some extra points. But that's going to be the final question of the game. At that point, at the end of that round, whoever has the most points wins the game. Now, one thing I will say is a lot of times the incorrect answers might have something linked in common. So for instance, we have something over here. This is the university mottos. So 3 of these are university mottos, 3 of them are not. So I actually work with Honda, so I happen to know that the power of dreams is Honda. That kind of gives me a clue that maybe some of these all have to do with cars. So 3 of them are going to be university mottos, but 3 of them are going to be car company mottos. Let's flip it over and see if I'm right. Sure enough, the power of dreams is not one of the correct answers. It is in fact the Honda slogan. Over here we have Follow Your Ears, which is a Lamborghini, and Above and Beyond, which is a Land Rover slogan. So all the incorrect answers had something in common. So if you're able to figure that out, it kind of gives you a clue to some of the other incorrect answers, if you're paying attention. So this is Half Truth, Second Guess. This can be combined with the game Half Truth. It's a standalone expansion to it, so you can play it by itself, or combine it with the original Half Truth. I loved that those hints were kind of buried into the answers, kind of the red herrings about what wasn't the answer. So if you were able to kind of pick up on something that wasn't one of the correct answers, and you can tie other things to that wrong answer, you're going to help to deduce what's not one of the correct answers, which I thought was really cool. I think it's a fun, subtle way to kind of give you an extra layer of thinking about things as an extra level of the trivia. Not only can you figure out what it is, but what it isn't. I think that the ability to design this game for 2 to 12 players is crazy. If you play as 2 players, you're playing as one person on one team, one person on another team, and it's just head-to-head. If you're playing with a full complement of 12 players, you're playing with 4 teams, and you have 3 on each team. They all have their own deck, and they're all answering separately. This is the fact that it all balances out and works out with full 12 player count setup is insane. And then the rulebook kind of gives you a kind of a guideline of, if you have 11 players, here's how you should do it. If you have 9 players, here's how you should do it. And you kind of obviously do whatever you want, but it gives you guidelines as far as how you could set it up to make it so it's going to be balanced out the right amount of ways. I think that when the change-up happens, when you're turning that dial and you reveal an icon, the rules change for that round. It changes for everybody, not just for the person who revealed it. It's a pretty cool feature. So, you're going to get extra points, or maybe you're having to kind of use what we talked about as far as the wrong answers. You have to use the information to figure out the wrong answers and not the right answers and flip-flop your brain in that way. I love that little change-up, that little twist in the thinking. It's a pretty cool feature. I also like the hidden, push your luck built into the game. So you can either choose 1, 2, or 3 answers. If you're super confident, you're like, let's do all 3. Go for it. If you're not so confident, maybe just do the 1. It's tough to want to be able to go into a category and not know anything about it. It have to be forced to do all 3, right? So I like it gives you the feature of being able to say, I think this one is going to work. Again, you can't communicate with the rest of your team, but you can say things like, you know what? I don't know this topic super well. I'm only going to put in 2. I'm pretty sure about one of them. One of them, I'm not so sure. Things like that. You can say vague things. You just can't say specific answers or specific knowledge that you have on that topic. I think it's a fun way to kind of give you a little bit of a push your luck. And a chance to show off if you're really skilled. I thought I was good at Star Wars, Bounty Hunters. Apparently not, but still, it was a lot of fun, and you got to kind of play around with that a little bit. All right, so you guys, this game is going to be on Kickstarter on October 15th. If you like trivia games, with a little twist added to them, I suggest you check it out. I'll put a link to the Kickstarter down below. As always, guys, be sure to follow along. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube, and you can follow us along on all of our social media channels. We've got them all listed there. Follow along. We're having a lot of fun making lists, reviews, previews, all kinds of different stuff. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye. You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.